Channel R presents Discover Spotlight, our exclusive series of interviews with the best up-and-coming artists.
Hey, this is Tara. Welcome to Channel R Discover Spotlight. Today I'm speaking with American singer-songwriter, voice actor and spoken word performer CARRiNGTON MacDUFFiE about her new single, Under the Sky. We're listening again to your song, Under the Sky, and your album as well.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I find it really interesting when you listen to the different songs, but when you listen to Under the Sky as well, sort of like putting together, to me it's as if you're sort of at one with nature, and as if it's to do with like being at one with the earth and everything as well, our surroundings.
Yeah, that's a good interpretation. That's certainly how I felt when I wrote it. Initially there wasn't a drum track, the live drum track that runs through the end of the song was not part of it, and then we realized it needed that dynamic there, and I feel like that kind of starts to almost take you into a trance kind of a place. The version on the album is longer. The version that went out to radio is a little bit shorter version, but the version on the album's longer. And what I like about what happens there is that it really does, and it sounds like you heard this too, it really does take you into this feeling of, I guess it's trance is the best word for it, because it goes longer than you think it, and it keeps going, and then it takes you into this other space. It's very relaxing. And things going on, I'm glad that you feel that. One of the things going on in that song too is it presages something that's coming, and we don't know what it is, but it comes in from nature. It comes in the weather itself, where it says the wind is rising. What does it say? Now I don't remember my own lyric.
You're going along on the crest of a wave and you're just flowing along with it. Exactly,
yes. And the line is the wave is coming and the wind is rising. And that's well put. It is like you're riding along on the crest of a wave.
Has it always been music for you? You know, how you came about coming into the music industry? Was it always that you always wanted to be in music?
Yes. I mean, I always was. I was writing songs since the age of 13. So I was just doing that no matter what, because that always comes first, right? Before any thought about the business itself comes the music itself. And as a 13-year-old, I wasn't thinking about that, because I never followed celebrities or anything like that. I was always quite an introvert. So I was just writing songs, and it wasn't until I was about 19 years old. I had done a year of college, and I decided that I'd had a really heavy education, and I wanted to step away from the university. So I did that. I went over to Europe and spent about 4 months traveling around without an itinerary, just kind of exploring. And by the time I was done doing that, I was with a friend of mine. That's when I really figured out I need to be in music professionally. So I finished school, but then immediately got into playing. I had been playing open mics since I was maybe 16, 17 in New York City, but and I went to school in Boston. I played open mics there. At that point though, once I got out of school, it was, music full bore. I had to have a day job, but that's, I guess I was about 19, I want to say, when I was like, oh yeah, this has to be a full-time professional thing.
Do you write your songs based on experiences, personal experiences, or are they observational, or a mix?
It's a mix, I think. I mean, generally speaking, they come out of my own experience or my perception of the world, which is an experience in itself. Your own perception is an experience. Yeah. Usually I draw together different facets of a certain, maybe, and then put them together into one sort of archetypal situation. But I just finished writing a song that I'm going to record with these guys in New York. It's called Max from the Future. And this song I came from, I'm in a global economics seminar. And one of the guys in the seminar is from Brazil, and he dropped out of the seminar. It's a Zoom thing. And he dropped out of the seminar saying, you know, I got to tend to my life. And we were surprised. I was surprised to see him go because he was like hyper smart and always very, very present and really interesting. And I thought, well, and he left his email address. And I thought, well, where did he go? Where did Max go? So I followed that up, and emailed him. We got in touch and we started communicating on Telegram, and he started sending me voice messages about why he had left the seminar and what was going on in his life. And I would sit on my couch, this is just a couple weeks ago, I was sitting on my couch listening to the messages, and as I listened to his voice, really interesting voice with this cool kind of Brazilian accent, and I started writing a song about him just based on what he was saying. And as soon as he would say it, I would write another line. And so it's really about, it's totally inspired by him, but with my themes, you know, I'm inserting my themes into his story. So there's an example of how it's really a combination of both, right? Because I'm observing his life and his experiences, but I'm putting a spin on it that's how I see things, how I see life.
At the moment, you're working on more music.
This one is so brand new, it's still coming out. So the new music won't come out for a while yet, but I did just finish, I'm in Austin, Texas now, but I just returned from upstate New York where I was recording with some new musicians that I hadn't worked with before, and it was really exciting and fun. The drummer is actually the drummer who played on Under the Sky that we were just talking about, where I was saying, you know, he does that kind of the drumming that happens on the last part of that song, and he actually was the drummer for the Goo Goo Dolls. So I now have a band up there. I've been working with them. We recorded half a dozen songs, and we are going to record more probably in the fall, and that wouldn't come out probably until early next year unless I may release singles before then. But there's another single on, a couple more on the album that haven't really gone out to radio as singles yet on the Sweet Little Mystery album. And one of them is called You Baby, and that feels to me like a Valentine's Day song, so I might have to send that, but that's not until February. What I'm really looking forward to is getting back with my band in Glasgow and doing some live music with them. I can't wait to get back up to, I think it's still happening this summer. There's a festival in the Highlands. Well, anyway.
I think that was the Tartan one you did, wasn't it?
Yes, the Tartan Heart Festival. That's it.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. And I can't wait to get back up there. I have friends up there, and, you know, my guitarist is just so killer good, and he sings. What a great voice he has. And we're doing this. I'm actually working on an acoustic project that's John Gray in Glasgow. Because I'm designing also an album that's just acoustic duo, so his guitar and my guitar, or I play an electric ukulele, and vocals, you know, duo vocals that we would be able to perform live so that we could tour as a duo. So I'm also working on that project as time allows, but, you know, it's a lot of juggling. I was asked in an interview I just did if that I'm called an indie artist, and do I mind being called that, and what genre? And I was like, I really don't care what genre you put me in. That's up to you. It's all up to you. And it's the same with the song lyric. I have an intention, of course, when I write it, but once I've written it and put it out there, the listener, it's yours.
Yeah. Do you need to be put into a genre? I'm not one for these genres, to be fair. I think, do we need to be? Music is music.
Yeah, music is music. For the market, genres are needed, you know, because that's the first thing that they ask you is what kind of music, and you need to have an answer.
Yeah.
So, and I get categorized sometimes. I've actually been categorized as Americana, which I'm like, okay, whatever that means. Indie, of course, just means you're not with a major label. I mean, that's what that means. And I'm off the charts independent. I mean, I have my own label. I'm very, very autonomous. And then in the iTunes, in that whole pantheon, I'm categorized as pop singer-songwriter, I think. So I can tell you it's not heavy metal, it's not rap. Sometimes it's rock, sometimes it's pop. It's never really folk. I can tell you what it isn't.
Have you got any plans at the moment? I know obviously with COVID, with everything, the way it's been and everything, I suppose you've not got any sort of concrete plans, but have you got anything that you're thinking of on the horizon for next year or the next few years?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I mean, we have to see how things go with international travel, but you can be sure that as soon as I possibly can, I'll be back in the UK, and playing whatever gigs are available and visiting radio stations and probably recording with my band in Glasgow. And we'll just see, how things look. It's probably, we're looking at next year. I know here there are festivals and things being planned for the fall. We'll see how things really go. And I have my own travel plan I live in a couple different places. I live part-time in Seattle and part-time in Austin, Texas, which is where I am now. And now I have the band in upstate New York. So for sure I have some travel ahead between those places. But as far as, planning over the next year or so, for sure another record will be out next year. I have no doubt about that.
You'll be needing some downtime for yourself.
I need downtime. Thank you. I absolutely. It's funny you're saying that because I was just telling someone that before I got on. I was just texting with my sister saying, oh my God, I think I need some downtime. I do. And if I don't schedule it, no one's going to schedule it for me. So,
yeah.
I tend to be really, really proactive. And if one of my faults is that it's hard for me to stop because I'm really turned on.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad that we got to do this, and I really appreciate you listening to and airing music. That means a lot to me, and I know that you DJs you guys are volunteer, or you're holding it together. Putting that stuff out on the airwaves, you're doing a big service to the world, especially at this time.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, thank you. Well, people deserve to hear your music, though. You've got such good music. We've got to get it out there.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I look forward to listening to more of your music, and hope maybe I'll get to see you when you come to the UK.
I hope so. I have that in mind.
Well, you take care. Enjoy your time when you have your time off.
Okay. Thank you.
And thank you very so much for your time today.
You bet. Have a good night.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Channel R Discover. The best up-and-coming artists are right here.